Hello, everyone. My name is Josephine Lopez, and welcome to episode 1 of my podcast, Healing Through Growth. The purpose of this podcast is to create a safe space for real conversations in regards to trauma, healing, and how growth can help through difficult experiences. Today, I'm focusing on post-traumatic growth, or also known as PTG, and I'm focusing on PTG through the lens of racial trauma recovery. Understanding post-traumatic growth. When we talk about post-traumatic growth, we're not saying trauma is a good thing or that pain simply just disappears. PTG refers to the positive psychological changes that can occur after someone experiences trauma or faces adversity. For example, someone might experience discrimination, loss, or long-term stress, and while these experiences are painful, they can help us develop a stronger sense of self. They can help us deepen our relationships and give us a clearer understanding of what matters most to us. Growth doesn't always erase the pain, but it definitely helps us move through it. For this podcast, I'm focusing on post-traumatic growth through the lens of racial trauma recovery, which is a race-informed approach to healing racial wounds. This model recognizes that trauma is not always a single event. For many people, trauma comes from repeated experiences of racism, discrimination, or feeling unseen. This framework focuses on acknowledging racial trauma, reconnecting with cultural identity, healing through community, and creating meaning from lived experiences. It emphasizes empowerment, resilience, and resistance as pathways to healing. When it comes to comparing Tedeschi and Calhoun's 5 domains of post-traumatic growth, new possibilities relating to others, personal strength, spiritual change, and appreciation of life, racial trauma recovery helps us explain and understand how people reach these areas of growth when race and identity are a part of the trauma. Post-traumatic growth in real life. For me, post-traumatic growth has been deeply connected to my family. In my family, resilience has been passed down across many generations, and there's a strong pattern of pushing through challenges and surviving difficult circumstances. I am first-generation Mexican American, as are many of my family members, and a lot of my family came here with no knowledge, no money, and having no clue how to speak the language. That strength and resilience that my family shows sometimes comes with carrying stress, and especially in the Mexican culture, we carry that stress quietly. Having social support, especially from people who understand shared cultural experiences, has been essential to my healing. This reflects the racial trauma recovery model, which shows that healing is not only internal, but relation and community based, and especially when it's the Mexican American community, because I think we all can relate to not feeling welcomed and not understanding how to navigate through these experiences that not everyone goes through. My family is the biggest example of post-traumatic growth in my life, and I could not be prouder of being surrounded by all of these people and hearing their stories and learning about the trauma that they have endured and the growth that they are constantly doing. As we are nearing the end of the podcast, I wanted to talk a little bit more about racial trauma recovery and post-traumatic growth. Through racial trauma recovery, post-traumatic growth is supported by recognizing racial trauma, reclaiming cultural identity, and building through community. As we know, healing is not only internal, but it is also community-based. Racial trauma recovery focuses on recognizing and validating racial trauma, reclaiming cultural identity as a source of resilience, and healing through community, connection, and shared meaning. It views growth as both personal and collective. From a post-traumatic growth perspective, this process helps create meaning after trauma, it helps build resilience and empowerment, and it helps support emotional processing. This also promotes hope and forward growth through community-based healing, as community-based healing is seen to be one of the biggest ways to encounter racial trauma recovery. To conclude this podcast, I wanted to talk about how racial trauma recovery provides a powerful framework for understanding post-traumatic growth. Racial trauma recovery validates lived racial experiences and showing that healing can be both personal and collective. I think with everything going on right now in the nation, it is very important to shine light onto the racial problems that are happening in this country right now. And my podcast, Healing Through Growth, is about recognizing pain while still allowing room for resilience, meaning, and hope. This framework reminds us that growth is possible even after trauma, and not ignoring what happens and understanding what you go through is really how you move forward. Thank you guys for listening, and tune in for the next episode. Bye.